Righty then. I'm waiting to go training. The lads are just out on the pitch now warming up while I sit here and figure out what the hell do we even talk about that. Of course, we're seeing an overreaction. Ultimately, it's not good enough to be dropping points in the first game. You can't lose your away games. It's a bonus if you win them, and you have to win all your home games. It's hang on, sorry, we've got an image on there that's not supposed to happen there. I fixed it. Don't worry about it. Shows the last time we went live off his computer, doesn't it? I'm seeing a lot of people throwing Ollie under the bus here with this one. Listen, mate, you can't have individual brilliance to win the games and then have individual errors not be a thing and it all be on the coach. It doesn't work like that. It has to be a combination of both. There has to be accountability from the manager. Undoubtedly, I thought some of his substitutions were shocking. I was texting one of my mates during the game, and he was like, "Everything's chill. This is, we're in control here, and we're doing the right thing. We're seeing the game out. We're away in Europe. We're not going to lose." And I was like, "Okay, but you're presuming that they're not going to score another goal." I felt they were going to score another goal. Some things happen, and Sir Alex Ferguson speaks about this a lot. Some things happen when you have a team that's pressing forward. People talk about how United always used to score goals in the last minutes of games, and it was planned and trained for. It wasn't just a coincidence, it wasn't just an accident. It was planned and it was literally trained for. They did situational training where they would be like, right, you're 2-1 down or it's 0-0, you need a goal, you've got 10 minutes to go get one. And they would take players off and they would do things like that. Now, one of the things Sir Alex Ferguson said is, if you go back to the Champions League final 1999, they knew they were taking, I think it was Zickler and Basler off. I think that's who they took off. And he said they'd watched them and they knew that they took these players off. Now, taking those two players off allowed United to put better players or more attacking players on in the final third. That's why Solskjaer and Sheringham came on when they did. Because those were the two players that were penetrating. Those were the two players that were hurting. So, while Wan-Bissaka should get a lot of criticism for what he's done, there is valid criticism in the right places on Ollie on this one. He took our Basler and Zickler off and allowed them to go further forward. They didn't have to worry about Ronaldo because despite the goal that he scored on Saturday against Newcastle, he's not going to be constantly running the lines. He can break forward in an instant and do something, but Jadon Sancho's the one that runs the lines. And we just watched the match in here as a squad before they've gone out. Who else is he going to take off though? Wan-Bissaka goes off. You're probably going to need a right back to come in. That makes sense. Is he taking Bruno off? No. It'd be who I took off him, if I'm being honest. Is he taking Fred off? No, loves him. Can't take Donny off because he'll cry. Donny's got less minutes than I have this season. And he's not taking Ronaldo off. So he's not going to take Pogba off either. So Jadon Sancho was the very easy substitution. And that for me is where I would criticise Ollie for that. Because Jadon Sancho was the Ji-Sung Park easy substitution. Giggs might moan, Scholes might moan. Put Ji-Sung Park's number up, we'll get him off. And I think ultimately Sancho paid for being a young player here tonight. Where actually the particular skill set that Jadon Sancho has got would have helped stretch us. Now, as they pour forward, playing against 10 men, Jadon Sancho's ability on the last man, on the last shoulder, is going to be something that makes them worry. Ronaldo's not. I know he's quick and I know he can do things that a lot of forwards can't do, but they would have been pretty comfortable with a lone Ronaldo containing him. And then not only that, as the substitutions went on, I mean, taking Bruno and Ronaldo off and bringing Matic and Lingard on, Jesus. That's a mad one. And then, I'm sure Jesse didn't intend to blast a through ball in, which he did. It wasn't a good enough one. It was a dangerous ball. The pitch held up. That could be a consequence of playing on a 3G when maybe they're typically used to playing on slicker grass surfaces. But either way, it wasn't good enough. Now, the euphoria of the victory against Newcastle at the weekend is going to ebb. We have to look to West Ham and try and overcome this and have a much better performance. But there's going to be questions on Paul Pogba going to Park Life, Sancho going to Park Life, Jesse Lingard going to Park Life. This was an away European tie on a Tuesday, not a Wednesday. That extra 24 hours can make a difference. Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo went to Park Life? You all know the answer. And perhaps that's an issue that people need to look at. Now, I don't think none of them was getting off their nut at Park Life. And I actually don't think having a couple of drinks, I don't think any of them did drink, but I think even a couple of drinks isn't necessarily going to cause a problem if they did have a couple of drinks. But that whole mentality, that all or nothing winner's attitude that Ronaldo displays, has to probably seep into everything that the club does. Otherwise, we're going to have some issues here. Jogo Bonito's just... I haven't looked at the stats, actually, tonight, because we're using my phone as a hotspot. So I haven't been able to look at the data for tonight. 2 shots, he's saying, in the entire game, both from Ronaldo. No shots after 25 minutes. That's just simply not good enough. We have, of those asking, Park Life's a festival in Manchester that happened this weekend. Literally everyone I fucking know went to. 2 shots the whole game isn't acceptable. You've come up against the Swiss version of Burnley, essentially, and you've allowed them to take the piss. Are people asking in the questions what Park Life is? What is Park Life, though, Steve? It's a fucking concert for kids doing fucking laughing gas and dressing like dickheads. The substitutions, baffling. Baffling, to be honest with you. Righty, I am going to have to go because otherwise my own team will fucking suffer for this weekend. We're out there planning for how we win this week. Cheers for tuning in. I'll do 5 things in the morning. Nice one. See you in a bit.